Hey guys, what's up? This is Swift here. So today I'll be doing a installation and upgrades of the reference cooler on the R9290. As you can see here, what I have here is the R9290 reference cooler edition by Sapphire. Of course, it's gonna look all the same with all your other different brands as well. Depending on what brand you buy, the sticker here will be different, but the cooler and everything else will be exactly the same. That's why it's called the reference cooler design and reference PCB, etc. So what I'll be installing is the Xtreme 3. It is somewhat compatible, almost 95% I believe compatible with the R9290. So I'll be doing a installation, not so much of a guide because I cannot talk through everything and I'm not very good at it, but yeah, so you can just take a look at this. It'll be a time-lapse video or something like that, so you can look, and I will just put up some annotations here and there for whichever important part that you should take note of. So first thing first, you can see here, the first thing you want to do is to take off the reference cooler anyway. So what you want to do is to unscrew all the different screws as well as the one in front here. Let's see if we can just, yeah, so we have two screws here as well, which we will have to take out to pull out the cooler. So yeah, I'll get back to you once everything is done, and we'll look at the results before and after, of course, and we'll see if it is really a worthy upgrade or not for the reference cooler, which is extremely loud and is kind of hot as well. So I'll get back to you guys again soon. Alrighty, so once we have taken off the cooler, as you can see at the top, that's the reference cooler. It's time to actually clean up the residue or the leftover thermal paste that is from the reference cooler. We will have to clean it up. What you can do is you can use something like those specialized products. I believe Arctic Clean or something like that is advertised to clean up thermal grease and thermal paste left over, or you can even buy something like this. I bought it. It is known to work anyway. This is isopropyl alcohol. You just dab a little bit on a cotton bud or something like that, and then you just clean it up, or you can use some kind of cotton swab or something like that to clean up the thermal paste. So yep, I will get back again once that is done. If you want to take a look at the card, the bare card itself, so you can see this is the card naked without the cooler. Yes, it's actually very small, not very thick or anything like that. That's the cooler, which is most of the weight. This is the card itself. So you can see here, this is the main GPU, and then beside it all the memory chips and VRMs. You can see here as well. So we'll have to put heatsinks on then after that, after we clean everything up. So yeah, I'll get back to you again. Hopefully the time-lapse video is of some use. So yeah, I'll get back again once I'm done with that. Sorry that I couldn't take any more photos for my time-lapse video kind of thing, because my video light went off, and so it's not very practical for me to take quick shots, and because it will be too dark anyway. So yeah, anyway, I have place all the heat sinks ready on the necessary places. So as I said before, it's not fully compatible because you see the heat sink over here doesn't cover the chip fully, and the reason is if you use the bigger piece, the bigger heatsink to cover the whole piece, the cooler will interfere. The plate itself, the mounting plate, will hit onto the top of the heatsink, so it isn't exactly fully compatible. But from what I've read from other people, if you are not going to do too much heavy overclocking or anything like that, this chip will not overheat. It will be sufficient enough for proper cooling and stock temperature, clocks, and minor overclocks as well. So I had quite a bit of trouble because the adhesive, the thermal adhesive, was very difficult to apply for me. This is my very first time doing such things, and I wasn't very experienced, and you can see that some places I placed too much and it overflow, so I had to clean up and stuff like that. So hopefully you don't do the same mistakes as me. I don't really know how to teach you anything because I don't really know the good trick or anything to make sure that everything goes perfectly. So that's something you should take note of. Don't put too much, if not it will overflow. And there's one thing very important, I'm not sure the photo god did see me put, is this strip of insulating tape here. It's because you don't want to touch both pins there. This the circuit here, you don't want to short circuit them. I can see it. Let's see if we can. Alright, hopefully it's over here. So you see the tape here, and then there are these pins over there that runs across the PCB, and what it prevents when you put the insulating tape is that you don't short circuit should the heatsinks accidentally touch the different pins and whatnot. So that's something you should take note of. Another thing is that the chip over here, the heatsinks over here aren't very secure. Because the surface area for it to mount on is actually very little. I'm not sure if this is sufficient enough, because if you touch it, it would probably drop or something like that. But I'm hoping that when the adhesive is cured, and it would be much more secure. So yeah, so now you should leave it to rest and let the adhesive cure for about an hour. There are people who say that overnight is the best, but I believe an hour should be enough, according to other people as well. So I'm not too good at this. So other things I've done is to put the spacers. As you can see, one is missing. I dropped it and I couldn't find it anymore. Hopefully it doesn't do anything. It shouldn't anyway. It shouldn't do anything to it. So we flip around. Same thing. The washers are placed. These are the 3.5 mm washers. Do take note that these have to be the black ones, and the one that you mount on your graphics card, sorry, the graphics card cooler, would be the 2.5 mm white washers. It's kind of obvious. Anyways, you should read the instructions and they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. So now I shall wait for it to cure, and then we'll proceed with mounting the cooler. So yeah. Alright, so as you can see on your screen, the cooler is installed, and it's not possible for me to actually show you on camera or video how I actually put this on. Is so difficult. The difficult part is not that it's hard to follow the instructions or anything like that. It's basically lining up the holes for your screw to go through. Let's see if you can see this. Right. Alright, see here, the screws at the back as well. You have to line them up really well, and it's very difficult to put back and forth, and if the camera is here, it's very hard for me to show you anything. All you'll see me struggling, and the graphics card will be off camera anyway. So that's just something I have to say. I'm so sorry I cannot show you, but it's the instructions are simple, but the execution is quite difficult. It's not difficult, rather it's more tedious, and it requires some luck sometimes. So you can see here the mounting plate, as I mentioned earlier, it overshoots the memory chip. So if you use the heatsink that covers the whole thing, it would conflict. So those of you who are looking for other kinds of VRM heatsinks, etc. external sets, do take note about that. So the cooler is installed, hopefully it's working. I really hope that nothing is touching and short-circuiting the whole graphics card, because if I destroy this, I'll be very sad. So yeah, I'm going to install this into my computer now, and hopefully it works, and then we'll see some temperatures as well, results and benchmark. So oh god, this is so difficult for me, first time. It's okay, it's difficult, but it is doable by everyone. So yeah, I'll get back to you with the benchmark and results. Hopefully it's working. If you don't see me, or if it means the graphics card is probably dead. Right, I'll get back to you. Here are some temperatures that I've recorded using the program GPU-Z. You can see it to the left as the stock temperatures, and the temperatures using stock cooler as well, and the right is after I installed the Xtreme 3 cooler. Now more discussion on the cooler itself will be in the review, which I've already posted up, so you can head on to that video to hear more of my thoughts and the conclusion of how good the cooler is. But now, like, just to point out some things and just say out some of my thoughts after installing the cooler. Now there are a few things that you should take note. Now throughout the video, I have mentioned that it's quite difficult for first timers. Yes, it is difficult, but it is definitely doable now that I look back and after experiencing the whole thing and seeing that the graphics card is working itself. So yeah, it's definitely doable. And the thing is, you should be prepared. You should come prepared. For example, you should have your screwdrivers ready. You should have your tissue papers or cloth or things like the cotton buds ready as well, so to clean up, and if you make any mistake, you can clean yourself up and things like that. Now another thing is that so the steps to actually install the cooler is very straightforward for all kinds of cooler, for all kinds of cards rather, that is compatible. That is, first you obviously take off the current cooler on the card. Then all you have to do is to clean up the residue left, basically the thermal paste, the thermal grease, etc. And then what you do next is simply do a dry run of all the heat sinks that you're supposed to put. When I say dry run, I mean you do not immediately put the thermal glue onto the heat sinks and stick them on. What you do is simply place them over all the chips. Then you look through if everything is covered and that nothing is obstructing. Then you spot out the places where there are points that you think that might touch, and then you simply put the insulating tape over them, and then you head on to put on all the heat sinks using the thermal glue. Then of course you let it rest and let the glue cure before you install the cooler itself. Now another point I would like to let you know about is that the amount of thermal glue you use to stick the heat sinks onto the VRMs and memory chips, try to use as little as possible. You do not need a lot at all, so use enough, not too much. If not, there will be, like I mentioned in the video, it overflowed and it isn't very good and isn't very easy to clean up, especially after you put it on. Then of course another thing is that once you have it on and while it's curing, make sure you do not touch it. If not, it's going to it will go off place, and it's not going to help much at all. So yeah, that's about it really. If you have any questions, do let me know. The video is not so much of a tutorial, even though I put it as it is. I guess you can look at what I do and then be more confident after learning from my mistakes at least. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys again soon with a new video. I have some stuff sent from people for reviewing and unboxing, so I'm very excited about that as well. So yeah, Arctic cooling, it is a hell lot quieter compared to the stock cooler. Oh my god, the silence is just insane. So yeah, if you have a reference cooler, especially R9290 or R9290X, yeah, you can get one of these custom coolers, or even the liquid cooling mounting brackets as well. So I'll get back to you guys again soon. Again, if you want to know more about the results and my discussion of that, watch my review on the Arctic Cooling Xtreme 3 itself. I'll put a link in the description bar, and I'll get back to you guys again soon.